For most of my adult life, I've prioritized travel and have been very fortunate to experience a lot of places. Recently, I was asked what are some of the best places I've ever been, and by that I mean my boyfriend asked me. It's not like the New York Times went in an interview. I narrowed it down to where I've been within the past 5 years because in 2020 I made 2 videos about the best hikes I've ever done and the best non-hiking adventures in general I've ever done, and I didn't want to repeat the same video. So these are the top 5 places that I've personally been within the past 5 years, and they all happen to be in North America. Number 5, the Grand Canyon. This is a place I feel like that's renowned for its beauty worldwide. In fact, I have a travel book about every country in the world and what to do there. And according to the people at Lonely Planet, if you're going to the United States, you definitely should go to the Grand Canyon. Look at that. It is so beautiful, so many colors, so many interesting ways that the rock forms. It makes you feel alive to be there. To be realistic though, it is a very strenuous hike. You have to walk a very long way to be able to get water, or you're just gonna have to carry all your water with you. And it's not a walk in the park, even though it is very extremely beautiful. You will probably be suffering and scared. And when I say scared, I mean like there are people that are very prepared that go, but at the same time, you never know what could happen. I actually switched number 5 and number 4 this morning just because they're both so awesome. It's hard to compare them. Without further ado, number 4 is the Sierra Nevada. This mountain range is so pristine. There's not roads going through it. You have to hike there. There's mule teams carrying people's supplies if you want to get fancy, but a lot of it is very just roughing it. It is just so well preserved, and again, like the Grand Canyon, you just feel alive to be there. It's such a unique place. Although, like the Grand Canyon, it is also very strenuous. You have to be in pretty good shape to get there, and there's bears that take your food if it's not stored properly. So again, you'll probably be suffering and scared while you're there. But the Sierra Nevada is kind of a general area, so to narrow it down more, I'm gonna say near Dollar Lake or Ray Lakes, and they're all kind of in the same area north of Glen Pass. And there's this really cool mountain that looks like all the mountains are like this, and this mountain is like this. And it's just so unique and magical and just makes you feel alive to be there. Number 3 on my list is a place very near and dear to my heart. I have been wanting to get back there ever since. It's Lake Tahoe. Specifically, when you're out on the water in Lake Tahoe. The surrounding areas, I feel like, have too many fancy homes and not enough low-cost campsites, but again, that's just my opinion. Surprisingly, the world can't cater around my every need. But being someone from Kentucky, where if you go to a lake, if you can see your feet, even if they are kind of hazy, that's pretty clear water. In Lake Tahoe, it's so clear, you can see like 30 feet deep, I want to say. It's insane. And it just feels so magical. It feels like you're floating to swim there. Of course, I guess you are floating in water. That's what swimming is. And the water is so blue there. A very specific shade of UK blue. Plus the rocks and the trees have this really distinct look, and I love it. Now we are getting further and further into this list. I am so excited to reveal to you all the top 2. Maybe take a second right now if you want to hit that like button or dislike if you really hate this. The second most beautiful place that I've been within the past 5 years is Glacier National Park. Up in Montana, right at the Canadian border. Such grand mountains. I really like that since it's a national park, you can drive and see mountains and beauty that you might not be able to see otherwise. Everything is just so grand. Some of the water is that beautiful glaciery color, and it's just It's stunning. The hike I did last time I was there was called Scenic Point. It looked down on this valley with a lake and mountains surrounding, and I keep saying this, but it makes you feel alive. If you're not able to take a hike up there, that lake that it looked down on, I sat by that afterwards and just kind of chilled and watched the clouds pass, and that was also so epic to see. Now, coming up with this list was extremely difficult. I made a lot of honorable mentions because it was just like, I've been so many places, I love so many places. So I made a lot of honorable mention. When I was just brainstorming, what are some of the most places that are like, I can't even believe I'm here, beautiful, I came up with 8 and had to narrow it down to 5 as more of a round number. The 3 that unfortunately didn't make this list, but I also really, really love. Yosemite National Park is a valley surrounded by granite walls of rock. It's really unique. It's just epic being there, wide open spaces, again, very pristine. Bryce Canyon, so unique, so colorful. I loved walking through there. And the Sawtooth Mountain. It's not a national park, but it is as epic as one. Beautiful mountains, nice and clear lakes. It's just a beautiful place. The honorable mention for best in Kentucky and Indiana, where I live, would be Red River Gorge. It's a very cool canyon. There's unique rock formations. There's plants like rhododendron, and it just feels jungly because it's very humid. Unique plants, just an awesome place. Honorable mention for best in the South, I would say the Everglades. There's so much to it, an otherworldly place. It feels so cool, seeing the alligators, seeing the cypress knees. Honorable mention for best in the Pacific Northwest, the Tahoe rainforest. The moss was so beautiful. There were a lot of people around because it was a very popular place, but I got to a point where one crowd of people was ahead of me, one crowd of people was behind me on the trail, and just the moss and everything, just being alone in that forest, I was like, this is so magical. Honorable mention for best on the East Coast, Acadia National Park, especially the precipice hike. That was just so cool. So many rugged cliffs. The first day I got there, it was a lot of fog, and it's just so unique, so wonderful. People that have been watching my channel for a long time might be thinking, hey, you haven't chose any place on the AT. Well, while that trail is near and dear to my heart, it's really hard to just choose 5. So my favorite place on the AT was actually south of the Roan Highlands. There was this foggy area, there was a lot of little white flowers, and I just felt like I was in a fairy tale. The trees were so twisty and beautiful. It was just so unique, so magical. When I got to the actual Roan Highlands, which are known for sweeping views, it was windy and cloudy that day, so I really didn't see any views, but someday I'll be back. Best place I've ever been in my life, period, would be the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Just seeing the different colors and different shapes of coral, plus all the different shapes and colors of fish all moving around, it was just insane seeing that much diverse nature all in one place, all moving around, all being beautiful. That was just too cool. I wish I had footage from that, but I wasn't making videos back then, so it just lives on in my heart. The most fun place I've ever been was Old Rag in Shenandoah National Park. It's a mountain, it's a hike where you climb up and down rocks, and I was there in the fall, so you look out and see the beautiful fall colors below. And the place that hit me the most personally was the overlook at the end, or I should say northern terminus of the Superior Hiking Trail in Minnesota, because I had been like 300 miles of hiking. It was my first solo backpacking trip. Finally getting to the end and having that hit of joy while looking out on this beautiful overlook, that was one of the best memories of my life. Now, after all these honorable mentions, are you ready for the number 1 place I've been within the past 5 years? An ice cave. I took a trip to Banff, Canada. I went to Lake Louise. Beautiful place. In fact, it's also listed in this book. Look how beautiful that is. I was there when it was snowy, so this was all ice, and like of course there was snow on the mountains, but you walk across this lake because it's frozen. And I was going to a tea hut. So I'm walking along, there are signs saying, by going further, you acknowledge that there might be avalanche danger. And I was like, well, I guess that's a normal thing for here. So I'm walking along, trying to get to this tea hut, and I lose where the trail is in the snow. There's not trail markers or anything. So I'm like, honestly, I don't know where to go. It is possible that I was supposed to go down here, and if I go up, that might be dangerous. I really don't want to get lost. I really don't want to take any risks. So I guess I'll just sit here and look out at the mountains. And I did. I think I had something to eat. And then I noticed behind me, there was a rock, kind of a rock wall, and there was water that had flown over that and frozen. So there was a frozen waterfall a few feet apart from this rock wall, and I went in there and the sun had lit up that beautiful color of the ice, and it was just so cool to be there. It was so unique, so unexpected. I didn't know something like that could even exist, and it was cool because I discovered it by accident. If I had been able to hike on and get to the tea hut, I'm sure that would be nice, but it was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And hey, just a general note, I really encourage everyone that watches this to keep up with laws and policies that are affecting our public lands. It feels like there's something new every day, but I really feel like if we all pitch in and speak up, then we can make a difference. I really hope this video gave you as much wanderlust as it gave me. There's so many beautiful places in the world, and every now and then, if you're lucky, you'll find a place that's so beautiful you barely believe it's real. Let me know some great places you've been, and I hope to see you next time.